This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, to follow on from the last video where we spoke about potential sparring partners for Tyson Fury as he prepares for Anthony Joshua, in this video we're going to talk about Anthony Joshua and his potential sparring partners as he prepares for Tyson Fury. Now, much like with Tyson Fury, Joshua's sparring partners, of course, they're going to be chosen by Rob McCracken and everything, but they're not always a carbon copy of his opponent. But they will have natural attributes that his opponent will have, whether it be the footwork, whether it be that they're an orthodox or a southpaw, whether it be very, very similar height, an inch or two either side, doesn't really matter, but they have to have something that is quite similar to his opponent. So these are the kind of opponents that we're looking for. Again, much like the last video, this is not for you to agree with who I pull out, not at all. I have tried to keep it as local as I possibly can due to the international restrictions. Who knows how they're going to be by the time these guys get into camp, but it's for you to talk about it in the comment section so I can see who you guys think that Anthony Joshua should be bringing in as he prepares for a Tyson Fury. So that's going to be a very, very tough task for Rob McCracken, isn't it? Who can you bring in that has anything even close to a Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury is 6'9" with an 85-inch reach. How do you do that? He's a switch hitter, southpaw, orthodox. He will keep on doing that. He's a pure boxer, and as we've seen in the Wilder fight in the last time round, he can be the aggressor as well. Okay, very difficult to hit. He's like the heavyweight version of a Floyd Mayweather, isn't he? His footwork is outstanding, the way that he pivots, all that kind of thing, and the fact that he's very durable and has an engine. These are the kind of things that Rob McCracken is going to have to look for as he looks for a potential sparring partner for Anthony Joshua ahead of the Tyson Fury fight. So some of the names, as I said, they're not here for you to agree with me. It's just me just giving you some potential sparring partners. Of course, you guys drop them below. Now, much like with Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua does like to bring in prospects. That's what he likes to do. Again, prospects because they have something to prove. They will go in there looking to make a point. Okay, looking so Anthony Joshua will remember them. Looking so Tyson Fury remembers them. Okay, so these are the kind of things. But also, when it comes to a Fury, you need to have somebody who is as tall as possibly can be. Somebody who's fast on their feet. So maybe for example, Lawrence Okolie might be okay. Of course, Lawrence Okolie is very good friends with Joshua. He's managed by Joshua as well. He's going to be fast on his feet like a Tyson Fury. So he may not always just bring in heavyweights. He may actually bring in cruiserweights because they can move like a Tyson Fury. He may even bring in some super middleweights. We don't know. Or light heavyweights or whatever it may be because of their speed. Very few people in the heavyweight division can match Tyson Fury's speed, if anybody. Okay, so maybe Lawrence Okolie might be a good choice for the speed, okay? When we look at, say, the height, for example, we could look at, say, Marius Wack. Marius Wack, of course, he's recently lost to Hughie Fury, but Marius Wack is 6'7", 6'7.5", actually. So he's 1.5 inches shorter than Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury, he does like to get low quite a bit, okay? So he doesn't always use his 6'9" frame. He doesn't always use that, so he does get low a little bit. That's probably somebody like a Marius Wack might be ideal. Of course, fighting style, totally different. I understand that. But how close can you possibly get to a Tyson Fury? It's very, very difficult. Okay, so height, reach, Marius Wack. Speed, then of course you're looking at someone like a Lawrence Okolie or fast heavyweights, maybe a Fabio Wardley, that kind of one as well. That would actually be a good one. Fabio Wardley, very, very fast on his feet, very nimble. But again, I want to mention my good friend as well, Stephen Robinson, because Stephen Robinson is 6'7" with a 81-inch reach. So he's only 2 inches shorter than Tyson Fury and only 4 inches shorter in reach. Maybe 3 actually, I'm not too sure to be honest. He's either 81 or 82. But Stephen Robinson, who of course had just recently spent a several-week camp with Hughie Fury and previously with Mike McCauley and Joe Joyce and Nathan Gorman and many, many others, he is a switch hitter. Again, a lot of it has because he's been taught by Peter Fury recently to him. He's a switch hitter now, where he can fight southpaw and he can fight orthodox. He's big and he's strong. Tyson Fury is big and he's strong. Foot movement, Stephen Robinson's got very, very good foot movement, but who has better foot movement than Tyson Fury? very few others, which is why I said about potential smaller fighters such as cruiserweights and light heavyweights and that, maybe even super middleweights for Anthony Joshua to get used to the speed. But Stephen Robinson is one that Joshua can wrestle on the inside. Fury has been throwing a lot of uppercuts recently. Stephen Robinson, that's one of his main attributes, is the uppercut recently. He's hurting people all the time with that uppercut. He's big, he's strong, he's a switch hitter, he's heavy-handed with both hands. Okay, Fury is not heavy-handed with the left, but we can see that he is actually quite heavy-handed with the right. But trying to get somebody with the flick jab is quite difficult. Who does the flick jab? Hughie Fury does the flick jab. But Hughie Fury, he's 6'6", that's not a problem with the 80-inch reach. Not really that much of a problem. But is Hughie Fury going to go into camp with Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury? While I'm not entirely sure of the relationship between Hughie and Tyson, I don't know. Maybe and hopefully these guys have all ironed things out. But it's still unlikely Hughie's going to go help, say, Tyson Fury. Even though stylistically, because Hughie is, again, a switch hitter, the fact that he uses the flick jab and he's very, very awkward and very difficult to hit, that would be ideal for Anthony Joshua. But it's just not going to happen. It really isn't. So anyway, for me, I think that Lawrence Okolie will be one, or should be one. I think Stephen Robinson should be one. I think Marius Wack should be one, and maybe a Fabio Wardley. But again, very, very difficult, very, very difficult to try and pull out sparring partners to try and replicate anything that Tyson Fury does. Tyson Fury is a unique fighter, very, very unique. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Of course, you drop me yours. Click thumbs up and, of course, subscribe. And I'll catch you all in the next video.